So for my second video, I thought I would share my video game collection with you, with a little bit of commentary. Collections seem to be a popular topic in the Whisper community, so I thought it would make a great way to get started. Now, I actually only started playing video games about 5 or 6 years ago. I first bought a Wii. And one of the first games I bought for that Wii was Resident Evil 4, which for some reason I don't have here right now. I don't know where it is. I'll have to look for it. But I do have the other Resident Evil games that I bought after I bought Resident Evil 4, because it turns out that Resident Evil 4 is one of the very first games I played, and also still one of my absolute favorites, and I pretty much love all of the Resident Evil games. So since I had a Wii and it's backward compatible, I was able to pick up some of the GameCube Resident Evil games, such as the regular Resident Evil, and this is the remake, I believe. So it comes on 2 discs for the GameCube, but they both fit inside the Wii without any problems. And comes with a little booklet, like you would expect. I picked this up used, probably at GameStop or someplace like that, but it was in pretty good shape. So, it's like the book. I really enjoy the older Resident Evil games, although I find that I usually need a walkthrough in order to manage them, because, I don't know, lack of a map or puzzles or whatever seems to defeat me. I am not an expert video game player by any stretch. And that's Resident Evil. I also have Resident Evil 0 for the GameCube. This plays inside the Wii without any problem. And you have your booklet. Yeah, I'll pull it out. Here we go. I guess that's, I don't know, what character are those? Chris? No, Billy Cohen and Rebecca Chambers, which pretty much, as far as I know, never appeared again in any other games. I don't know. Let's see. So, I've got to find my Resident Evil 4, but I do have my Resident Evil 5 with Chris and Shiva. Oh, and it's missing. Well, I'm sure it's around somewhere. I play it a lot. And here's a booklet for that. Chris and Shiva. This game's pretty fun to co-op. I've co-opted it with my niece, playing Shiva. But honestly, like, a lot of people complain online about the AI for the secondary character, but I never really had a problem with it because she's a perfect shot. Just don't give her any healing items. So, there's that, and then I also have Resident Evil 6, which I've completed most of already. I just bought this a couple of weeks ago. And I love Leon's campaign. And I love Jake's campaign. And I hate Chris's campaign because Piers is a little bitch. he is just, I don't know. He's constantly arguing with Chris, and it's too much like an action game, that part of the game anyway. I don't know why. But I didn't even finish it. There's like, at the end of chapter 5, you have to run away from this big creature, and the camera angle is ridiculous, and camera angle is ridiculous. This doesn't even come with a book. You have to go online to get the booklet, and the game doesn't exactly have a great tutorial, but chapter 5 of Chris's campaign, you have to run away from this big creature, and I kept getting killed over and over again, which was completely ridiculous. So I just abandoned the campaign and started Jake's, but I really love Jake's campaign. I'm going to go back now and play it as Sherry. Now, a little ad in here for Resident Evil Damnation, which is one of the CG movies. There's 2 of them. I think the other one is called Resident Evil Degeneration or something like that. They're both actually pretty good. And they both feature my favorite Resident Evil character, Leon Kennedy. I have to say, the people who make these games do a really great job of making attractive video game characters, because I love these guys. Now, let's have a cup of tea. Let's see. Next up, my favorite game, Alpha Protocol, which I have played through at least 5 times in full. It is my favorite game. It is sort of like a combination action game / RPG, and it has the best branching dialogue options and things I've ever seen. The dialogue alone is worth playing the game for, but it's just pretty fun killing people in it too, because you're like a major badass. This game is made by Obsidian, and if you went to Metacritic, you would see very lukewarm, mediocre reviews for it, because it does have some issues. Namely, the graphics aren't all that great, and some of the gaming part of it, some of the playing part isn't really that brilliant. But however, the story is excellent, and it's everything you kind of hoped Mass Effect would have been, with the branching dialogue, you know, actually changing things in the game instead of having the same solutions and outcomes. I don't know, I really love this game. It's probably my favorite game. I've played it at least 5 times. It has fantastic voice actors, and I really enjoy it. The main character especially is well done. Mike Thornton and his buddy Steve Heck. Highly recommend this game. Now, my other favorite game, Metro 2033. I cannot wait for the sequel, Metro Last Light. This game is set in the, I guess it's Russian, I think it's set in Russia. I don't know, Eastern Europe somewhere. Set in the Russian tunnels. It's sort of action game, bit of horror element to it, and just beautiful storyline, first-person player game, very atmospheric environment, and I think a pretty gripping story. There's a point in the game towards the very end where I just was very emotionally affected by it. But I really love this game a lot. It's very fun to play. Beautiful, beautiful looking game. And it's funny, I had stayed away from it for a while because most of the reviews online suggest that the game is very difficult to play. And I'm, like I've mentioned, a horrible, crappy gamer. However, I did not really find this game difficult at all. Granted, I did play it on the lowest setting possible, but I think all the comments about this game actually being difficult to play are completely ridiculous. Great game. And another favorite game of mine, Deadly Premonition, which cost $20 when it was new. This is another game which graphically, not the greatest thing in the world, has many playing the game itself, parts of it, especially anything involving shooting, are just ridiculous and annoying. But again, this is one of these stories. It has a great storyline. There's a lot of different things you can do in the game. The characters are amazing. Has good at voice acting. I don't know, the main character is just incredibly, I don't know what to say about him. He's just incredibly appealing and just very interesting, and I don't know, you get really involved in the game and what's happening with everyone, with the character in it. It's just fun. It's really fun. I mean, graphics are truly terrible, but I don't know, you look past it. Too much fun. It's like a horror game, basically, if you didn't get the idea from the way it looks. Welcome to Greenvale, remote rural town where mystery and murder go hand in hand. Assume the role of Agent Francis York Morgan and delve deeper into Greenvale's deadly secrets. Interrogations, investigations, and bloody crime scenes await you in this seemingly sleepy town. Can you survive long enough to fulfill your deadly premonition? It also has some really annoying quick time events that basically made me cry. Cry from annoyance and frustration, not from emotional attachment. Now, let's see. Okay. Bioshock, the first game, is another one of my absolute favorite games, which is missing from this pile, which means my niece probably has it. Bioshock is the reason I bought an Xbox 360 in the first place. And Bioshock is actually probably the reason I even ended up starting gaming. I saw an ad for the video game on television, and it was so amazing looking that I decided that I needed to have it. So I tried to play Bioshock on my PC, which was a horrible piece of shit. And since that didn't work, I decided I went out and bought an Xbox 360 and the console version of Bioshock. And I love that game to pieces. One of my favorite parts of that game is picking up all the little tape recordings along the way and piecing the story together. I don't know if you can tell, but one of my main interests in video games is storytelling aspects. I think most games are pretty terrible at it. Writing for video games is still not quite as good as it could be. But there are quite a few games that I think do a really amazing job of having a narrative that you can really become immersed in. And Bioshock is one of them. And Bioshock II is another one. In fact, I don't know, I was a bit leery of Bioshock 2 when it was first announced, because I thought the first game was so unique in its setting that there really wasn't a reason to go back to the same place. It just seemed a bit like a retread. However, it turns out that Bioshock 2 story. Well, let's just say the ending of Bioshock, the first game, was not that great. And it's kind of anticlimactic, bit of a letdown, to my mind, anyway. So, this game, however, I think has a much better ending. And, I don't know, I just became a little more emotionally connected to the story and the characters in this game than the first game. So, I'm really looking forward to game number 3. Let's flip through the book here. Yeah. There we go. Alright. And on to Fallout New Vegas. Again, missing Fallout 3, which I like much better than Fallout New Vegas. I do think the storytelling in New Vegas is somewhat better than in Fallout 3. However, I much prefer the Capital Wasteland as a place to roam around and do things in than New Vegas. I don't know. When they first announced this game, I've been really looking forward to it. I was pretty excited about it because I love Vegas and I love Nevada in general and just that whole environment, landscape out there. And I thought this game would be very. I think there's just really no way it could have met my expectations for how Vegas was going to look. Because naturally they weren't going to go out and license the rights to use the likenesses of the various actual casinos that are there now. So I think that's my main disappointment. I mean, with the Fallout 3, you didn't need to license any of those buildings because they're all government buildings. But with this game, I guess they would have had to license the appearance of casinos, but I did like that they had Hoover Dam in the game. I really love Hoover Dam anyway. Tribal Pack. I never used this code. If you can see that code, you're welcome to use it. Fallout New Vegas added bonus. At least I don't think I used it. I'm pretty sure I did not use that code because that tribal outfit is terrible. Brink and Hunted, and I'm sure I had a book with this game, but I have no idea where it is. Alright, put that back in here. I did really enjoy this game, though. I've played it through a couple of the ending, different ways of playing out a couple of different times. I do really enjoy the game. The other thing, though, that does bug me about this game is that I feel like there was a lot more things to do in Fallout 3 when you were just out roaming around. There were many more random encounters and just sort of people out in the landscape of the Capital Wasteland. That is far less the case in Fallout New Vegas. Basically, if the characters aren't directly related to a storyline, there aren't any. They're like, you don't, like, I don't know, Fallout 3, you were constantly sort of running into random characters and creatures at Wasteland. In this game, not so much. It just feels very empty, which is annoying. The Orange Box. Half-Life 2. And Episode 1 and Episode 2. Also Portal and Team Fortress 2. I bought these games to play the Half-Life. I bought this to play the Half-Life games. I absolutely love them. I played them all one right after another. They're like a really whirlwind ride, I thought. Love them. The only thing I don't like is that people talk to a character who doesn't answer. I kind of find that annoying about ASMR role plays as well. Just kind of weird. But I really enjoyed this game and the setting and just the action of it, and it was very engrossing gameplay. I have never attempted to play Team Fortress 2, mostly because I'm not really much for online games. First time I ever went on played game online was Mass Effect 3, which I'll talk about shortly. And I tried to play Portal, and I don't know, whatever. I didn't give a shit. So, I did not finish it. I didn't get very far in Portal at all. I thought it was boring. I know, that's crazy talk, but whatever. I guess I have different interests than people who like Portal. Yeah. Well, Crisis 2 is not, it doesn't belong in my favorites pile, but it's a fun game. First person shooter? I think it's first person. I can't remember now. Pretty sure it was first person. I don't know, it's fun. It has like powers and stuff, which are fun to use because, by like halfway through the game, you're basically an unstoppable badass who can turn invisible, which is great. I tried the multiplayer once and scurried away after being headshot a million times. Alright, my other favorite games: Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. Now, even though Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect, has the worst graphics of the lot, it's actually my favorite of the three games, and just in terms of story and the things that you can do in the game. It's a great universe. My only two major annoyances with the series as a whole are, of course, the ending, which if you play video games, you've all heard about the crappy Mass Effect 3 ending, which they had to release a coda for because, well, you gotta handle the PR backlash somehow. I don't know, it's just the ending made it seem like nothing you ever really did had mattered all that much, which is my main complaint with the game. The fact that it's supposed to be a role-playing game, but I don't know, a lot of your decisions are shoehorned, unlike Alpha Protocol and the Fallout games. I will say, though, one thing I really loved about Mass Effect 3 is I finally started playing multiplayer, which I've never had in any other game before. Always play single player, even in pretty much just avoid games in general that feature multiplayer. I started playing the multiplayer in this game because in order to get even remotely decent halfway ending, you needed to play the multiplayer, which is just another big complaint that people had about the game. It was basically impossible not to, depending on what kind of decisions you'd made in the previous two games about certain characters. So I started playing the multiplayer with this, and I met a bunch of cool people online to play it with all the time, and ended up having a lot of fun, and I spent way more time on the multiplayer than I ever did in the rest of the game. But I actually have played through this game like 3 times in full. In fact, I'm like very close to getting 100% achievement on this. I think the only thing I have left to do is play Insanity, which I won't. So I think I have like 2 achievements left, but I'm not going to bother. So those are my favorites, and here's a special bonus. I have the games that I got as a result of Black Friday sales. I got Skyrim. Ta-da! I got Skyrim. I ended up, let's see, this ended up being on sale on Best Buy's website for $25, and I had like $15 in reward zone vouchers. So I ended up getting it for like $10 out of pocket. And I'm glad I only paid $10 for it, because so far I'm not super impressed by it, which I don't know why. I felt the same way about Oblivion, didn't really care for it. I played the hell out of Morrowind, but Oblivion I couldn't get into, and so far I'm kind of feeling the same sense of meh, whatever about it. I think, honestly, it's just I'm not really into the whole medieval, Lord of the Rings, sword and sorcery, typical fantasy environment. It's just blah, boring to me. I will take the apocalypse, thank you. Yeah. So, I'll play it, and, well, if I don't play it, my niece will play it. And Assassin's Creed 3, it's not open yet. Maybe I'll do an unboxing of this later. I have not played any of the other Assassin's Creed games. However, as soon as they announced this one and the environment, the setting for it, I was like, I need to have this game. Because I live in Boston. And I'm hoping that, well, I'm looking forward really to running around Boston, Revolutionary War, Boston, and New York, and just, I don't know, to me those are great settings, and so hopefully I will really enjoy myself. Actually, that reminds me, one of the games that's not here, because my niece definitely has it, she's playing it now, it's a game called The Saboteur. It's an open world game. I think much like this sort of game, there's a lot of climbing buildings. Saboteur is set during World War II in occupied Paris, and it is, along with Alpha Protocol, Metro 2033, and the Bioshock games, it's my other favorite game. My niece is playing it right now. She really enjoys it too. If you like the Assassin's Creed games, I don't know, you probably like that too, I guess. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm looking forward to playing this. However, before I play this game, I'm going to play this game, which I got from Kmart on their Black Friday deals for $20. I missed getting it on the Microsoft store for $10. Actually, I missed getting this on the Microsoft store, amazing sale, for $25. I ended up paying $34.99 from Amazon, maybe? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember who I bought it from. Spec Ops: The Line, third-person shooter, which is my favorite style of shooter. I prefer third-person to first-person, although I play plenty of first-person games. This game has mixed reviews on Metacritic. However, one of its main appeals to me is that it's supposed to have a very sort of interesting story, and the way the story works out and everything. So I've heard people say oh yeah, that's right, it's in my Xbox 360 right now. I almost flipped out there for a second, thinking that Kmart had left it out of the box. I don't know, it's supposed to have interesting story, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. That's primarily why I bought it. Someone had reviewed the game on one of the forums that I hang out on, and said that there was a part of the game that made him blubber like a baby, and I thought, oh, I need to play that game. Borderlands. Yeah, I have the first game, and I hate it, so I will not be buying Borderlands 2. Oh, I can't let you see the code on that one because I plan on using it. There we go. Alright, so I do have lots of other video games, but I think I'll leave it there for now. And maybe eventually I'll go over the rest of my collection and talk about them, but I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm sorry that I think I started as whispering, but well, transitioned to soft-spoken. I don't know, maybe I started as soft-spoken, I can't even remember. But yeah, I don't think I could whisper for however long it took me to talk about all these different games, but I do hope you enjoyed this. Bye for now.